as you said, we went out the night before. We all left at different times, and all went different directions.
Because you could walk home.
Yes, it was like maybe like a 20-minute walk, 25-minute walk.
Nice walk.
Very beautiful place. And we all left around between the hours of like 2:30 to maybe 3:30. And on the way back, I decided to stop in and get some food. and whilst I was getting some food, mind you, these memories are a bit hazy. I think
it's because it was so long ago.
Yeah, it's so long ago. We'll leave it at that. But whilst I was there was this random dude who was, looked very scary, a bit rugged up, a bit mean, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, the state I was in, I decided to go up and have a chat with him. and so I went up and he was like, oh, I started to get a little bit angry and frustrated, and I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? And so rather than like re-engaging into him potentially wanting to have a fight, he was arcing up to me.
He's like the most peaceful dude ever.
Yeah, I'll de-escalate the situation however I can.
De-escalate king.
Yeah, and so what I did was I was like, oh, you want to fight? Teach me how to fight. I was like, teach me. I'm like, oh, you do that? How do you do it? Anyway, so at this point, I'd probably met him at like 3:30 in the morning. And eventually, he's teaching me things. I'm learning a lot. This is the first time I'm ever getting fighting lessons, by the way. And
learning a lot.
Learning a lot. And so there was one time he was teaching me I think it was like a left hook or something, and he was showing me the motion of doing it.
This guy is like full Russian too, right?
Yeah, Russian
like
bloke,
a rugged Russian,
bold, real scary, piercing eyes.
How old would he?
He would have been like 38, 40-ish.
An absolute weapon.
Yeah, and I was just like, that was my idea of how to de-escalate it, and it was working. Like, we were having a great time. He was teaching me. Everything was going swell, and he ended up like hit me in the jaw, like a bit too hard, and it kind of really hurt. So much so for the next 2.5-3 weeks on the trip, I was complaining about my jaw.
We've been in Hawaii like a month later. He'd be like, dude, I can't eat properly. Like, my jaw's so sore.
Yeah, he hit me hard. Unintentionally, I'm gonna assume, but I didn't retaliate in the moment. I'll remember it and then, get back at it later if the opportunity comes up. Otherwise, I'll just forget about it. And so one of the other things later in the experience was he was teaching me how to do a roundhouse kick. Mind you, this was a very long training session.
What time is it? How long have you been training at this point?
By this point, it was probably like 5:30ish, maybe 6 a.m. Like the sun was up. No, it would have been like probably close to 6 because the sun was like almost completely up. And
he was still like sparring in this park.
We started
he's still trying to de-escalate 3 hours later.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't de-escalated it yet. No,
slowly but sure,
That's it. But yeah, no, we progressively started to see more and more people come because obviously it was wake up.
As if no one called the cops.
Yeah, I'm surprised. And then anyway, he was teaching me this roundhouse kick, and he was like getting me to do it to him, like the motion of doing it, to teach me. And I was like, he's like, oh no, you're doing it wrong. Like, you need to fix this and that. And I'm like, oh, I just can't do it properly because I'm not putting enough power behind it. Like, and in this moment, I'm thinking, this is the perfect chance, like, to get him back from hitting me in the jaw really hard. And so I was like, are you sure? Like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to kick you hard. Make him accept his defeat. And then I kicked him as hard as I could. I roundhouse kicked him, and because he was a fighter, he could take it. Yeah. And probably because I'm not a professional, he could definitely take it. But I definitely kicked him really hard. He's like, oh. all right, I think we're done. Let's finish there. And then I walked home.
Hey, situation de-escalated.
That's it. That's how you de-escalate a situation.
I spent 5 hours sparring in a park.
But yeah, it was a very eventful evening.
I have this like image in my head of like you sparring as the sun rises and like you come to your senses.
Yeah. I was starting to become more aware. The pain was becoming more and more noticeable.
When did you realize like have that? What am I doing?
Probably when he hit me in the chin. It probably rattled me awake a bit. And I'm like, oh, this is a bit interesting. But mind you, I was still there for another probably hour and a half afterwards. But I was enjoying it as well because I'm like, I'm actually getting a decent.
For the next like couple of weeks, he was like showing us his moves.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, Hamish, you didn't pick up much. Like,